Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the gigantic Reddit AMA recap that Motiga did. Gig? What's a gig? I don't know. So, my original plan was to just literally read all these questions and answers verbatim, but that was a dumb idea because Baz can't read off of a script very well, and it was 16 pages long, so yeah. So instead, I am going to go down each question and just kind of give a quick recap of the questions that were asked and then answered. And if you want to read all the crazy detail that Motiga went into, because holy crikey, there is a lot, then I will link the description. I'll link the description in the description below. That makes no sense. I'll link the Reddit AMA post in the description below. But I wanted to give just a recap of the entire thing. And I thought it was just an incredible opportunity to get some of these really kind of heartfelt questions in. And I really did enjoy watching all the answers come up. And man, Motiga, you guys know how to type. Like, holy crap. There are some of these questions that take up like 2 pages. And I'm just like, okay, that's fun. But, honestly, I'd rather have that kind of AMA than just like, soon, kind of, short of, that's a great idea, cool, we'll look into it, that kind of crap. So I'm just going to go right down the list and just kind of start recapping things. And, Motiga, thank you very much for doing this. This was awesome. I can't wait for more of this stuff. Let's get started, shall we? A question was asked from the Reddit user Core Wynv. Sure, that sounds right. He's asking, once the NDA is lifted and the competitive scene starts growing, will Motiga as a studio be? What will Motiga be willing to do as a studio with / for competitive community groups who run tournaments? Mo Huggles came back with the answer that Motiga is 100% confident that they will absolutely be promoting grassroots tournaments and leagues on their social channels. Now, she didn't go into any other detail as to what else they will do, but you can bet your arse that there's going to be a lot more involvement from Motiga because the game's not even out yet. The game's in alpha, and we're just on Reddit just having a good time, and they're already extremely supportive and everything else. So you can imagine what they're going to do when they actually have the full community kind of going, this game's awesome. So definitely going to look forward to that. There was a question that I asking about what they plan to do about handling toxic players, and if they could kind of go into some of the detail as to what they would do when a toxic player is around and how they plan to handle that. And Mo Manwar or Maniwar, I'm gonna say Manwar because that's what my brain's telling me, went into just in phenomenal detail about what they plan to do, what their overall goals are, and just some really, really cool stuff. A couple excerpts that I want to take away from this is he basically is telling us that if someone really messes up really bad or has a really bad report or whatever, they will not be afraid to ban that player from the entire game. He specifically said that they could even go as far to be reviewed for the removal from Gigantic. That's a huge deal when a developer admits that right off the bat. So I think that we're going to see a lot of really good tools implemented by Motiga to help combat toxicity. And at the end of his answer, he actually says this. Now, let me ask you, what types of tools, systems, and moderation do you expect to see from Motiga? And guys, I would really encourage you to click reply to his answer and say, I expect to see this. I want to see this. I want this tool. I don't want this tool. Something that I suggested was to have a system in place where players would get rewards that were in-game, skins, cosmetic items, in-game currency that you can pay for with real money for getting reported for doing good things, for not being an asshole. So essentially flip the report system on its side and say, I'm going to commend this person for doing really, really good, or for being friendly, or being a good leader, or just not being an asshole. So this is something that Dota 2 does very well, but you don't get rewards from it, which pisses me off because that doesn't encourage any form of using it. And, like, I don't use it. There's no point for me to use it unless the guy's a real kind of asshole. But I would encourage you guys to go reply to that answer. Rot to Vinrin, sure, that sounds right. Why not? Asks this question: do you expect the NDA to last until the end of closed testing or shorter? And Mo Pokathulu responds with this answer: we're planning to drop the NDA ahead of the end of closed beta testing, but we have a lot of details to work through on that front. Then he goes into a lot more detail. Now, what that tells me is that they are simply just waiting till all the systems are really, really buttered. Are polished. I guess butter and polish kind of work the same way. They're slippery. They make things shine. It's used on commercials, but anyway. So they're making sure that everything's really kind of wrapped up and set before they kind of show it to the public eye, which is really smart because, you see a lot of games that are in closed beta, closed alpha, and they're like, hey, look at our game, and everyone's like, that's awful. And it's what happened to Evolve. That's why it got pushed back, because people were like, what the hell? They're definitely making the right call in this aspect. And another question by Rot, which I felt was really, really good, is how high do you feel the outplay potential is? Because he heard that Motiga representatives were, kicking butt at PAX, which definitely is going to be the case because they're obviously going to be more experienced. But he was wondering if that is more attributed to the lack of experience or the practice of the reps itself. A Motigan by the name of Mo So Much Monsters, which quite creative, had this to say: I was one of the handful of Motigans beating up on teams at PAX. While we won every game uncontested, including 2 teams made up by alpha testers, there were players that can beat us up pretty badly in the alpha right now. Considering how close Motiga is to the game, and we play almost every day a lot, I think the fact is telling that the skill cap is high and very real. This is really encouraging to me because I really don't like games where once you're in the game, you can just raffle stomp if you pick a certain hero or you pick a certain champion or whatever you want to call it. And this is something that you don't see a lot in competitive games anymore because I think developers are a lot scareder to take risks. And this shows me that Motiga is definitely willing to take risks. So I'm really excited. The next question I want to cover that I thought was really, really important to ask, and it's just an excellent question, was by the Reddit user Misaman? Sure, that sounds correct. In an FPS game, they generally have drastically different modes, i.e. capture the flag, search and destroy, team deathmatch. Each of these are drastically different strategically. There, thank you, brain. This obviously isn't an FPS, but other than the primary mode that has been shown so far, is Motiga looking into different kinds of strategic modes, elements, and so on and so forth? Mo Fohammer responds with, I finally got his name right. That literally took 15 tries. Wow. Apparently talking is difficult. Mofo Hammer replies with this answer: our entire focus is on creating a single, unified experience. We believe there is room for real variety based on differences between particular maps, but we have no plans right now for capture the flag, deathmatch, etc., etc. Now, this is actually really encouraging to me because sometimes in competitive games, they can get kind of cluttered and mudded in certain modes and certain things because people will generally pick their favorite and just do that the entire time. Call of Duty is an extremely good example. Most people just play deathmatch, where really capture the flag and search and destroy are kind of more of the high-level competitive things and are quite frankly more fun in my opinion. Team deathmatch is fun, but just go play Quake or something, or Unreal Tournament. Like that to me just seems like a very reasonable answer, and I'm very encouraged that Motiga is definitely taking a stance and kind of putting their foot down in terms of where they want their game to go, and not just trying to be, Call of Duty does it, so let's do it too. So props for kind of putting your foot down on that particular issue. The next question I want to go over is by Captain Knuckles. Thank you for having a name I can pronounce. I appreciate that. They ask, if all goes to plan, how often do you guys hope to update? How set in stone is the free-to-play model? Great question, by the way. What's really cool is we have Mo Kills a Lot, which is the CEO of Motiga, answering a question in the AMA. You don't often see that, guys. So, this says a lot about Motiga that their CEO is willing to come on and answer questions. So, you guys are awesome. Anyway, the way he answers these questions is just phenomenal. The first question, if all goes to plan, how often do you hope to update? He answers this. We want to make sure Gigantic is a living, thriving service. We currently have plans to provide regular planned updates on at least a month basis, which is really awesome. I cannot wait for monthly updates. We are going to try to learn from our alpha and future beta players on how they consume the game and adjust the updates accordingly. So a lot like what Carbine said initially, that they want to do monthly updates, but it didn't work out, and they'll adjust accordingly. So he's not promising monthly updates, but that's their goal. The other question he answers, how set in stone is the free-to-play model? He answers this. Once we've announced that the game is going free-to-play, our goal is to have nothing in the game that is meaningful to the core gameplay, that you won't be able to obtain through playing the game. We want to make sure that every dollar you spend makes the game... We want to make sure that every dollar you spend in the game makes you feel like you're making an investment in the game you love. So happy for this answer. This really kind of encourages me to think that they are going to allow you to unlock all the heroes via the in-game currency once they announce that they're going to have it. And it looks like that we are also going to be able to purchase things via an in-game store, which I'm okay with because this is what pretty much every free-to-play game does, and it's Motiga. They're going to do it right, and I know they're not going to screw us. And if they do, we'll call you out on it, so don't worry about that. The next question I want to go over is asked by Blizzkurt, and he asked a few questions. Are you guys planning on releasing something on SoundCloud like the music that is playing on the pre-alpha gameplay trailer? And the dev that goes by the name Mo Matus, or Mo Matus, sure, says... he is the audio lead here at Motiga, so we now know who the audio lead is. We are currently working on a lot of new music for the game that we will then be included in our fan kits and SoundCloud account. So to answer your question, yes, there's exactly a lot of new music coming to be online soon. I'm so excited for this. Oh my gosh. This also means that we're going to see the fan kit return, so I'm real excited about that. Oh, so excited. Next question that was answered that Blizzkurt asked was, what's the state of the Canyon map since we last saw it at PAX? Mo Thomas answers. Wow. Yeah, Motiga is going to ask them Motiga a question. That would be like Inception or Moceptioniga. I don't know. He answers this question with this answer. Hello, I am the environment artist currently working on Canyon. It's progressing along nicely and has been a lot of fun to work on. We try to reveal more of the lore and magic in Gigantic with every map. In the Canyon, there is a industrial society called, I'm going to butcher this horribly, Tesserusis. Sure. Trying to harness the ancient ghost energy which are flying around. And I'm not going to read the rest because apparently I can't read. But I really like this answer because he doesn't quite spoil everything. We get a little small piece of lore in this as well, kind of go a little bit more in depth on lore, which a lot of people like lore in MOBAs and these style of games, which I'll never understand, but hey, if it makes you happy, that's awesome. But I really do enjoy this answer because he's open and honest about it, because he's like, yeah, it's going along great. Everything's going really well. It's looking nice, that kind of stuff. So appreciate that answer. Another really good question I want to cover is by, I'm also probably going to butcher this name as well, Ona Karin, or It's not crayon because I know what crayon looks like. But they asked this question. Hi, Motiga. Are you satisfied with the game's depth? Would you say Gigantic will be hard to master? The Motigan by the name of Mo Nanaman, which is a progression designer. Progression designer is basically someone that would be in charge of, say, like the rune system in League of Legends, how you unlock that kind of stuff. So he goes into saying this. Speaking as someone who's been playtesting daily since joining the team a year ago, I'm happy to report that I'm still learning a ton about the potential of each hero in my hands. So yes, I am feeling great about the depth, and I still have a long road to go in terms of mastering it. That is amazing. So someone who's been playing the game for almost a year daily and is a developer who knows pretty much the inner workings of how the game works is still learning things. Guys, that's amazing. This game is going to be phenomenal. If the developers are still learning things about certain heroes after a year, that's so awesome. So that answer just made me so happy. Now, I'd like to go into more detail on more questions, but that's literally the tip of the iceberg, guys. There's been so many questions answered, and I don't want to talk too much. I just want to give a quick recap of what I thought were some of the best questions that were asked and answered. So, community, you guys did a fantastic job of keeping your questions on point. No one broke the NDA, which I'm super happy about. No one leaked anything. No one did anything stupid. You guys were awesome. Very, very good job, community. You guys get a gold star and a round of applause. Golf clap. Thank you. Motiga, you guys were just phenomenal in answering all your questions with being just so open and honest with everybody. Thank you for answering my questions that I asked. I do appreciate that. Thank you for answering the other community questions that everyone has been asking. And I hope to see this a lot more in the future. And let me know on some feedback on this video. This is the first time I've ever done like a AMA Reddit recap, so this was kind of weird to me. I don't normally read text in videos because I feel it's kind of boring, and I'm not good at it, which is clearly evident because I stumble over myself the entire time. So feedback would be appreciated, guys. As always, I always spoke about honesty. Be honest about the video. If you don't like it, tell me why. I definitely appreciate that. So that's it. That's all. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, and make sure to read the AMA. It's really good. I'm Batman. Where's Rachel and Guard?